The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees UNHCR and Bidumlem Humanitarian Association for Peace and Hope BIHAPH have had 3 interventions in the fight against GBV in the Menchum division of the northwest region of Cameroon. These 3 phases of the project has impacted the communities of Benakuma Ishimbi, Wum and Bafmen. Hundreds of victims have been transformed from survivors to champions. Hundreds have been economically empowered. Meanwhile, rape, sexual assault, physical assault, denial of opportunity and resources, and psychological violence have been greatly reduced in these communities thanks to the UNHCR BIHAPH GBV project. Despite the good work done so far, cases of GBV are still being reported almost on a daily basis in these communities. In an attempt to reduce the gaps, BIHAPH visited some key structures of the community to gather useful information necessary for the next phase of the project.
The cause can be poverty, anything that they show them they can take, it can cause it. Another one is crisis. They are afraid, they are timid. Like when they see these uniform people, when they call them, they are afraid of the gun. So at times they use them because of fright, because of that, because of tension.
You see, human nature is difficult. We need constant and repeated sensitization to change the people. It is said very often that old habits die hard. People were used to, they thought it was their right, they thought it was very normal, but now they are sensitizing and educating them that GBV and harassment and abuse, sexual abuse is a very bad thing. So some people are becoming used to it. Some people are hard-hearted. Some people are drug addict.
Yeah, despite BIHAPH's intervention, I want to think that the cases have reduced, but some are still coming up because of ignorance. And then secondly, we still have to put in more effort. BIHAPH have to put in more effort to go very far into the interiors to come up with some of the cases. But to say around the community where we are now, around whom, I think that it has greatly dropped.
Gender-based violence is caused as a result, to an extent, a high rate of illiteracy.
People are afraid, like if they are afraid to change, because there are some factors that are refusing to change. For example, like this early marriage or this forceful marriage, or like the way people when they have been violated, when they are being violated by other people who are maybe big in the community, or maybe they are leader of the community, maybe they are mother, they are afraid, they are ashamed to come.
Laziness too also counts because they are not creative, that I can say. Because if you have a mindset of doing something, you can now implement what you have in mind. But if you sleep, you leave your brain sleeping, then you are lazy. So this will account for gender-based violence, because if you are not occupied, you are bound to go and be doing things.
What changes go there? But not be all. What you make us say that change is not there, because not be all man participate. That's why they do either sensitization, when they call meeting, not be all man go attend. And not be any man when even you don't go attend, say not be all man take in mind for them.
Most of it is caused by poverty. But first, there are no companies. Most of the cases are not working. Most of them are dropped from school.
Some are disadvantaged, some are not able to pick up their positions because of some shy away from positions. So they shy away from positions. Then secondly, their level of education is also a hindrance for some of them attending some positions, or some of them holding some key positions in the community.
Though there are still some of the things here that are holding women and girls behind, pushing them backward because of ignorance. Yes, and some of these things are being caused where we have the cultural practices that we have here in Bafmen, such as the houses and the Chong women in Bafmen. Because at times they used to say, and most often they used to say that there is a particular meat or goat that women are not supposed to eat, or a girl cannot eat because she has not yet put to birth.
Which way they make they be backward, they not feel attain their full potential now, a lack of education. They be illiterate because at the first time we Muslims we only educate now we begin to say girl child education will be needless. Now only now we don't pick up, we start.
I don't really know because any man get his own heart. We not get one heart. My fashion, not my fashion. My sister fashion, my fashion.
Some people they never change because they say and say where they look up picking so picking can't chop na compound for Tabok. Because I get small picking no, that today me 1 week. The picking run dinner, the boy run dinner. I don't go for the mommy dinner.
As for me, I put example for me. Person like me, like my master. My master not agree say I go school. And for even deny say I no go school is because he himself he end the old school halfway. If I say I go school, he think as if I go school, I go so high level, where they low. For he say I go start manking respect, all those things. Man fit deny me no poverty because of family. He go say no be you, will be a different family. You never go come for your own thing them. You think that if you family, even for your woman thing. But forget but no say for you to be. If I'm just for example, if you can't tell me why they 18 years, when I get no small plus over make house, me I go struggle so even at 50 I contributing for that house. But you can't be tomorrow will say I'm not concerned again for that house.
Early marriage, lack of something.
Practices like this, like during a funeral, young girls at times they expose themselves the way they are dancing, like this dance Koshirema and that long Joshua window, how do they even call it? Being there, the way they are dancing, at times they provoke situation. Young boys can be tempted. And their way of dressing, these small girls, when they dress, their laps are outside, they open up their breasts, they show their breasts, can cause them to, that type of cultural thing can cause them to fall into victims.
If you look at most of our culture, even the other native culture, it is already, the culture is trapped toward GBV. Like, you see, women are not given some right, even in education. But in Islamic culture, they say that every woman and man have an equal opportunity in education. But because of that culture, in the Aku community, some of those things that women cannot go to school, and that is a very big GBV.
Just these early marriages that took us into GBV and sexual harassment and abuse, because when you send a child to, just because she has breasts and she's bulky, you send her to early marriage, it doesn't mean that the child is mature. She might just be physically fit, but mentally and emotionally, she will not be ready for it. So that's the area where we used to falter as a community.
Yeah, for socio-cultural practices, you agree with me that we have too many death celebrations that are going on, and during the wakes you will find so many of them there loitering around, and the way they even dress, the way the girls dress this time, you will see them. Those are tempting activities that can lead them into GBV.
Funerals and dances, when they attend the funerals, they join those groups and dancing, then they are exposed.
Which way they promote and lack of that education. But as BIHAPH don't come with the sensitized people, now all that thing they reduce.
So actually, woman is so because first now for that inheritance in there, you would make your plan with your master, but after you will start to suffer. You are picking them too, they go to suffer. Then for our plan, fufu.
Woman never suffer because we work corn, we harvest corn, we keep them. They are studying to come also. We go down fufu 6. We go get for a juju. Your friend will get die. You go down fufu. Family die will come out. Go down fufu. So inside boom cultural history, the problem they come and they fufu them will solve the problem.
That fufu die. Someone the day if woman get woman get die. Man picking the won't die for woman in back. But it needs say if woman want cook fufu them, you get to cook them. Maybe we our own traditional there. Say we buy them again buy. We get to get the 10 do our country fufu them 10 the 60 fufu 10 times 10. Yes. So if you don't make an up, your family for your master, they will start complain. They will say, you know, the day you master, as for 8 hours and so. Now all that kind of things will make me I miss my master or that thing will make me confused.
So we not be grow for pay picking school fee because time when they don't come out, they cook turn that baby fufu them, go gear. They take and gear for juju them. So how will we marry big?
Women never get a privacy because woman is then a low back for you. When woman don't get high because woman never talk, you want talk. Man because takes in a get position. You know you be womb. If you can marry you, now you become acting.
For example, for me, my parents they don't force me to say I go marry some man I be denied. My parents they stood up, they tell me say I get to marry because I don't get no further education for go because they don't pay me school because they don't get their own thing. The only thing I say I go marry. I tell you, as I deny, I say my force am, you know go. I just we finish for here. The person be there do that. I come go do alana. Man don't lie you. I make 1 week for that house tomorrow. You gonna be like her. No, if you do something where you are happy, I had no tell you.
You look at a structure like the palaces where you have polygamous homes and many children, and then you look at situations like during the crisis now where the militaries have entered the town. You will see that there are the people who are going on and perpetuating GBV in this community.
The military should be the primary because it is vulgar. Like the military that are here on mission, though there are some base military people here. Those who are based are not as much as those who come in. Those who come in, you know, they leave their families and their wives behind, but they don't leave their desires and emotions behind. They carry them along to the war front. And when they meet these girls and they take advantage of like frightening them, yes, and influencing them too with their uniform and maybe their guns, or to the most with some little finances. You know, they just use the young girls for no purpose, just to enjoy themselves because they're away from their families. That's the principal. Those are the principal people who are committing this GBV during this crisis period. Good. And 2, I always see the churches, because they are like, they have a coating, they have a blanket that is hiding a lot of things. But if you go examine closely, you will see that most of these churches, most of these reverend gentlemen really exploit the young women, and as far as they don't go to committing adultery. I have hosted a certain Pentecostal church in one of my buildings before even becoming a form. And what I noticed, I had to investigate, and one night, because they were talking about night vigil, I spotted, and I really went and left a particular window open where the pastor used to have the mattress. What I saw that night was discouraging.
Most of it is the military, and even in church too. But there's confusion in church.
The palaces, I will certainly are not going to be to say they are free from that. But today they are free just because they don't bring the women to the palace as they used to be. It was a pride of a father to say, my daughter is married to the palace. When she's just 15, 16, 17, they bring like an offer to the palace.
Yeah, especially here in the military, they have taken it like an opportunity to sex teenagers. When they just see any opportunity with their gun, because of this tension, when they show them the gun, they just easily go there, let me do it and be free. Even with this banger smoker, this drug addict, they just take, if you don't give me, I will do this to you. So because of this tension, this crisis, we are not even ourselves. At times we do it for peace to reign. The children do it for peace to reign. That's why there are so many unwanted pregnancies caused by the military, because when you go to hometown, you see so many young girls. Even there in the office, the tailoring workshop and the bead making and embroidery, all of them, it's like a maternity in this center.
The government sector is just like, we say that is where GBV is being originated. Because you see women, some of them are being employed because they have, maybe their bosses will say that you must do me this. If you don't do me this, I will not employ you, or I will not promote you. And you see, even in the workplace, you see a married woman coming to his workplace, a man in the other way, a colleague will come and embrace the woman and will beat their buttocks, touch their breasts. I mean that even they promote GBV, because you don't have, a man does not have the right to touch a woman's breast, or to touch a woman, or to tap her buttocks. So I mean that government sector also do it. Not to say that the military is the worst place, where I think the GBV is just like a common thing there. And then if you go to even that educational sector, you see it. You see children, you see even in class, you see men are romancing women, like students. And even some of the teachers are dating their own students. So I think all the sector they encourage GBV in different magnitudes.
I have said those who are into drugs and drunkenness, once they are hit up, like Kenyan adage which says that, and this opinion has no conscience. They themselves will not, somebody in drugs and drunkenness has no conscience. The least advantage he has once he's on heat, he will not spare, and he will even use force.
Those who smoke and those who drugs, especially those who are drunk.
We also have young boys who are idling around taking drugs, and they are forced to like fall into that temptation and use the girls like that.
Now only youth, now they promote that in the day strong.
No, we have women who are doing it, especially in BIHAPH, where we have our Mami Bibiana Drambo, who came in powerfully for the past years. She has been fighting GBV, training girls in this community, making sure that they are busy, not idling around. Many of them, she has trained many of them. Then we have a few political women too, who are trying it in their own way, going around giving just advice to the girls on how to behave, how to dress in the community.
For example of Madam, the director of BIHAPH, who is a teacher, and his other parents who also like to have their children become like her, like the nurses and doctors. Since some of these mothers have been educated and sensitized, they now see the importance of the girl child having a profession, the girl child going to school.
Some of the women, when they started doing functional literacy, and they started sensitizing people, you see most of the women come out and they are not afraid. For instance, for example, when you see now Mother Hawaii, when she is talking about education, you see most of the friends who cannot even read and write, they are coming here.
I shall say all the devil back, because now you see a young woman with the go from.
The place social and say, if a man begin one talk, we say me the she down, because we cook, they chop, we hold water, they can wash, we cook, they chop. If you don't come out, you want be for outside at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, because they can't pass go for us. So the thing you worry we now why we just say most fight too, talk say me man picking the 2 minutes understand what to say. They don't under we will be equal. We don't go be different. Because man picking go can even 2 o'clock, come at 3 o'clock. You want to talk for you say and left from this. So now here we fight say move your fight that way.
The trouble in the near future will be the children will not know their biological father, because very soon these boys, these military, they will be growing up, they will be transferred to other places. They don't even take care of the children as the children are saying. They don't take care of their children. So it will be their children, if they don't handle it well, will be having so many street children in womb.
It's really a problem on their psychological part, because most of them, they don't have the ability to take care of their children. Some of them, they go out of town. Then you look at some of the children, they are loitering around and doing nothing, which can also lead them to temptation of being one of those people who can perpetuate the act on girls. So it's really a problem. The girls, they give birth to these children, nobody is there to take care. They themselves, they don't have something to do. So it's really a problem on the community. For the psychosocial effects on the girls, really, some of them, they even attempt committing suicide. Some of them attempt committing suicide, then they abandon their family and go out of town, which is even more dangerous to them, to their life.
So when something don't affect you, it will be hard for you life may become normal as the first day. It would be shame when you go for people then. To say when you go for people and not only you don't do this or this did not happen for you.
If we don't educate the people that they should face the criminal, not the victim, the victims will continuously perish in pains and trauma, because each time it happens, there is a tendency that I will say, now because you be wearing this kind of clothes, now because you be working for night, now because, no, they give the blame on the victim. Whereas that is not the case. That is not where the blame should go. The blame should go on the criminal. The perpetrator should be the person to be attacked.
No, like some of the ones that we refer. I diagnosed them in the hospital. When they came, they were somehow disoriented and confused. So when I went closer to the patient, the patient had to review me the story. So now I counted the patient, gave her a referral note.
Such type of thing can make a woman demoralized and also have another psychological problems.
they are in the center here. They can go to any training workshop, like your own organization, they can be there. They can go to, when it happens, they can go and report it to the police. And if immediately it's like rape, they go to the hospital. We tell them to go to the hospital.
Yes, I don't hear say, they way they help, but nobody know me the way maybe pass if they go for day. Because them are picking way if you born now low age. So they be say, I give a go day, I go report them day. That don't know me. If you have a palace here, you know if you can't report that team, go and report a palace. Chief could say no get hand for that team. You want go for Joe. The only thing I will know as I be grow, you be now social affair.
Now we have BIHAPH. BIHAPH, that is Bindumlem Humanitarian Association of Peace and Hope. We're really giving hope to these girls. Like I said before, for the past years, they have been training girls on activities like bead making, pastry, agriculture, all this, and they have given the girls material to work with after graduation. Some are even presently doing tailoring. I believe that what BIHAPH is doing to these girls will occupy them, and they will not even have time again to go out looking for men or something that will cause them to have a pain again in their lives.
Most church, BIHAPH, and police.
There are some of Paris where we do support them. They have a social welfare day. Why I talk say police. Small young girls in this over outside. I know be explain where.
BIHAPH is doing a lot to accommodate some of them, to transform them to a better standard. So BIHAPH
actually they can trust the church because the spiritual leader is the head of the church and he does a lot of counseling. So therefore I believe the church is a very safe ground, very safe.
I would still say BIHAPH is doing much work in mentoring to bring these children or these victims out of the trauma.
The palaces should be the first place to go.
Considering the above information gotten from some members of strategic structures of the womb community, we can identify areas that will need specific attention in the next implementation of the project. The sociocultural stereotypes, ignorance and harmful traditional practices in this community are many. The mentality of the girls and women towards work and responsibility too is not the best. Structures that should be safe spaces have been identified as perpetrators. There is therefore the need for a more strategic and vigorous mass sensitization, economic empowerment, formal education and vocational training. UNHCR and BIHAPH have had a significant impact in their interventions in womb and birth men. However, many other interventions will be needed to completely change the narratives in a community that has held on to wrong ideas, beliefs, norms and practices for a very long time.
Yes, there are spaces because they are generous.
Okay, thank you very much.